Thanks for joining me on my little piece of paradise. I'm over at the lake. It's a little 1 acre fishing lake with the wooden cabin. That's an Airbnb that we let on Airbnb. Just helps for extra income on the homestead. When we arrived here in 2011, the actual lake wasn't a lake. It was actually 3 basins that were many years ago a trout farm where they used to breed trout. They kept them in separate pools for obviously different sizes for growing them on before they were sold for food. And yeah, the fish farm stopped many years ago, and it was just left very overgrown. It was in a right sorry state, so I decided, I'm a crazy fisherman. I love fishing, it's a passion of mine. So I've always wanted to own my own lake. So we decided to empty the basins, catch any fish that we could. There was no trout, there was only small perch, some roach and a few little tench. We put them into a swimming pool to take care of them while we carried out the work. And yeah, we done major works in taking out a roadway that went in between. It was like a T-bar that was in between it. We took all that out, created a little island, and I planted it up with trees and bushes, and now it is just a place of absolute heaven. It is a wildlife haven. We have carp, tench, bream, roach, rudd, perch, a few other species too. To be fair, it's not actually fished a lot. They've become more pets than target species. We have a black swan. Her name's Belle. The weeping willow that you can see just to the right of me was actually here when we moved here, but it was only maybe as round as that, not much bigger than my arm. And over the years it's grown and it's broke down in the wind, in the storms. It's been trimmed and it's grown back, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's part of the furniture here. I've had to fence it in all the way around because a few years ago we had an otter attack on the fish, and otters, as beautiful as they are, they can stay in the rivers, but I don't want them in my lake. They kill the fish. They don't even really eat them. They just seem to be pulling the fish out onto the banks, eating out their stomachs and leaving the rest. So a big waste. So we ended up putting a fence all the way around. The fence is a 4 foot high fence. It goes 4 foot high and 2 foot down into the ground. Plus it has 4 electric current bear cables up the fence to stop the otters from climbing, because they do that too. And so the cabin where we're sitting now, as I say, it's my most pleasurable place to be on the 12 acres. The mill's beautiful, but it's not got the same ambience as what I have on this around the lake. Now on our 12 acres, we have, as I say, the fishing lake and the cabin. I also have a piece of ground just behind the cabin, which is for my garage. It's a private area. Garage, my digger is there, the tractor's normally in there, there's lawnmowers and what have you, you know. It's our own little private space for me to stock my gear. So as well as the lake, we have a field, a large field, which is situated to the right hand side of the lake. At the moment we're just using it for hay. We cut and bale the hay for the winter for the feed for the animals. That's probably, I don't know, I'm guessing a 2 or 3 acre field. Beyond that is a couple of acres of woodland, which is surrounded by the river. It's an actual trout river, absolutely beautiful, and it finishes off, the start of our land finishes where the river meets a weir pool. It's actually a private weir pool, it's our own weir pool. It was part of the property when we bought it. So yeah, that's a beautiful spot. I'll take you through to show you that area in another video. And we also have To the left of me, we have a large vegetable garden with polytunnels, raised bed gardening. Beyond that, there is a field which we class as our garden. You know, it's got the kids' trampoline in it. I keep my beehives there. It's also got a balls court, and that just goes on to where we meet the paddocks. Like I say, all these I'll explain in other videos. So if you'd like to subscribe and follow along. The old mill, which was a old flour mill. It was actually built in 1884, and it was run as a flour mill for the commune, supplying flour to the local boulangeries, bakers. And I think it was around, if I remember rightly, around 1953, it was decommissioned because the miller actually died, and the wheel over time had just rotted down. It was made of oak, and it had just gone to rot and just fell apart. And from then it was left for many years, and then purchased by the guy who turned the place into a fish farm. So the mill was actually used for the egg production and the fry of the trout, which was quite an interesting thing. I met a guy once that told me that he used to work for the fish farm, and he used to sit inside the mill now, where along the same wall where the kitchen is. And the guy used to sit in there, and he used to pick out the fry and put them into smaller tanks and what have you, before they got put into the holding pools, the basins that are out here, which is now the lake. So yeah, now the mill is something that, just like the cabin here, it's an Airbnb that we let out at the same time. It's open from the end of April to the end of September. We don't like to let it out throughout the winter because we can have very wet winters here, which then the river floods and it blocks off the front. We can't get into the gîte, or we go around the back, but any paying guests wouldn't want to wade out the front. So that's why we shut it for the winter. A plan of mine is to actually rebuild the wheel. I'm a carpenter by trade, as I've explained, and I would love to rebuild the wheel, not exactly as it was, but I'd like to rebuild it and make it generate electricity so we can almost become self-sufficient within reason on our plot. So our 12 acres and a mill welcomes you to follow along, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully see what we get up to.